Past presidents of bankrupt U.S. corporation go on beckon for Godfather Bush. The dragnet is slowly but inexorably closing in on Bush, Clinton, Khazarian mafia clan in their Federal Reserve Board printing press. Multiple legal investigations, mass arrests of junior Khazarian mobsters, and public disclosure are now part of regular public discourse, not just in blogs formerly maligned as conspiracy sites. An interesting sign of Khazarian's desperation was the spectacle of George Bush Sr. posing with 4 other presidents of the United States corporation as part of a beckon. First, we must note that with computer graphics and body doubles, it is hard to know if this event really took place. For example, multiple sources have told this writer that Bill Clinton Rockefeller died of AIDS earlier this year. Nonetheless, assuming this event did really take place, this is what a senior CIA source in Texas had to say about it. The beckon in Texas is poor BS. Notice that the money goes through the George Bush Foundation. They are scamming money any way they can get it. The Khazarian mafia cabal must be really desperate. The causes of the desperation have been snowballing in recent weeks. Perhaps most deadly have been the ongoing disclosures about Khazarian genocides. This has started with the release of documents showing that the U.S. government was involved in the murder of over 500,000 Indonesians in the mid-1960s. Texas-based CIA sources admit, "We removed Indonesian President Sukarno from power, and we put Suharto into power. He regrets that he was a part of the operation back then. His excuse, just doing what he was ordered to do by his bosses at Langley." President Donald Trump promised more disclosure in the following tweet, saying, "Subject to the receipt of further information, I will be allowing, as president, the long block and classifying JFK flights to be open." 3 separate sources, 1 NSA, 1 Pentagon, and 1 CIA, all said they did not believe Trump would release the real truth about the Kennedy assassination. However, one senior Pentagon source who has been consistently reliable in the past said that the Trump release of JFK files may implicate Bush, Mossad, the CIA, the Deep State, and maybe a prelude to an intel dump on 11 September, suppressive technology, the secret space program, and other disclosures prior to mass arrest. Long-term readers of this blog already know that JFK was assassinated because he was trying, using gold provided by Sukarno, to take control of the issuance of U.S. dollars away from the privately owned Federal Reserve Board. Pentagon sources are saying that, in any case, Khazarian control of the FRB is kaput, as Fed Governor Jerome Powell may be chosen as the next Federal Reserve Board, beating the 3 Jews Gary Cohn, Janet Yellen, and Kevin Walsh, who is son-in-law of billionaire 11 September conspirator and Israeli asset Ron Lauder. The sources continues by noting, when a global currency reset happens, the Federal Reserve Board may be folded into the U.S. Treasury Department and issue gold-backed United States notes. The Texas CIA source, who claims to hate Bush but appears to be closely connected to him, says the Khazarian mafia was ready to retaliate by taking distract action, warning that the entire internet has a backdoor installed, and the Khazarian mafia can and will pull the plug as the final act. Bingo! The customer will attest to this if you would like to call him about it. Computer global financial entries have vanished. Oops, sorry, it must have been the Muslim, North Koreans, Russia, Iran, or maybe the Boom Yemen did it. Whatever flavor of the month suits their agenda. A CIA source in Asia agrees, noting their intent to collapse the system. It will most likely be triggered by the U.S. stock market collapse, followed by the Tokyo stock market. Why do you think they're both reaching new heights almost daily? A 50% correction in the Dow would wipe out at least $10 to $12 trillion. Bring in Tokyo and you can add another $5 to $7 trillion. This would be enough to bring down the financial system. As these 2 markets, linked together like Siamese twins, will start domino effect affecting the world's stock markets. Europe will follow almost immediately. The source had the following warning about cryptocurrencies too. As we both know, the real creators of Bitcoin built a backdoor into the system from the onset. When the time is right, they will empty all of Bitcoin wallets as a start and walk away with more than $100 billion, which is the value of Bitcoin now. Probably, it will be much more, especially if you hack the rest of the blockchains. Who's behind the current, pulling the levels, the real Wizard of Oz? The same group that created the internet so that the sensitive data could be sent over cyberspace undetected, from base to base, quickly and quietly. These threats to cause chaos on the internet are also definitely linked to the fact that Trump is appointing antitrust lawyer Jose Simons to the Federal Trade Commission. This had led to speculation that Khazarian strongholds like Google and Facebook may also be nationalized or broken up. A clear sign that the Khazarian-controlled financial system is bogus came in the release of a U.S. corporate government deficit of $666 billion in fiscal 2017. The real deficit for that year was closer to $1 trillion. We're saying it was a satanic $666 billion was their way of flipping the bird at the world. They are bankrupt, so whatever numbers they put out are pointless. This probably explains why so many of the world's ultra-rich have been buying physical gold, artwork, precious gems, and anything else that is tangible, valuable, and portable, so that they can haul it off to the highways they have been building in remote places. If they think there's anywhere on this planet they can hide, though, they are naive. Their best option is to surrender and hope for peace and reconciliation. In any case, the Chinese, Russians, and others have already prepared for a Western financial system collapse scenario with their CIP's International Payments System. This means they will weather the financial storm very smoothly. In the West, there will be a need for cash, paper ledger books, and logistics for groceries, gas, and other essentials until the financial system can be rebooted, minus the Khazarians. Written deeds and titles to land, physical share certifications, and other financial paperwork will then be input into the new reality-based replacement. Debts will not be input into the new system. These threats to shut down the financial system have an air of desperation about them and reflect the steady and unstoppable takedown of the Khazarian mafia on so many fronts, especially in the U.S. The investigation of why the Clinton sold 20% of U.S. uranium supplies to Russia in what appears to be an exchange for donation is one front on which the Khazarian are losing badly. The complicity of former FBI head James Comey in protecting Hillary Clinton is another. The U.S. military is closing in on the folks who carry out the massacre in Las Vegas as well. U.S. military-connected sources in Japan say G4S, a UK-based security company with 600,000 employees. This investigation will lead to Chicago branch of Khazarian Mafia, and from there to Italy. The Harvey Weinstein investigation is also becoming a major benchhead into ending Khazarian control of Hollywood. Here's what a Pentagon source had to say about it. The Hollywood drama Revenge of the Goyim is a blockbuster. As member of the tribe, Harvey Weinstein was expelled not just from the Motion Picture Academy, but also the TV Academy, the Producers Guild of America, the Directors Guild of America. The Harvard University was forced to strip him of his medal. Also, many thousands of pedophiles have been arrested around the world, and the arrested people are pointing out more senior pedophiles and satanists. In Hollywood, the FBI arrests 120 traffickers and rescue 84 sex-exploited juveniles. In Brazil, meanwhile, 108 people were arrested in Latin America's largest takedown of pedophiles. The Pentagon sources say the FBI is investigating Harvey Weinstein for ties to pedophile and Mossad agent Jeff Epstein. The Epstein investigation is heading inexorably towards people like Bill Clinton and former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, as tried victims now feel safe enough to name their torturers. Meanwhile, the Khazarian mob-ruled nation of Israel just suffered a major setback when Russians and Iranians took over oil fields in Kurdistan that were one of that nation's main sources of income. More will follow. In Europe, The Czech Republic became the latest nation to distance himself from the EU Fascists by electing the nationalist Trumpian billionaire Andrej Babis as prime minister. In Japan, however, Khazarian mob forces led by Barbara Bush's cousin Richard Armitage engineered what the Japan Independence Party and others call a fake election to keep their puppet Shinzo Abe in power. This is what an Asian-based CIA source had to say about him. Richard Armitage is definitely the right-hand man for Bush Sr. This guy goes way back to Vietnam days. His specialty, drug and weapon smuggling, with a little human trafficking thrown in for a change of pace. He's also Assistant Secretary of Defense at one time. A lot of off-ledger gold was moved during his tenure at the Pentagon. Other sources have told this writer in the past that treason by Armitage is one of the main reasons the U.S. lost the Vietnam War. So when the takedown of Armitage's boss, Bush Sr. is complete, Armitage and his network of cronies will face justice as well. Meanwhile, as the West remains preoccupied with cleanup of gangsters who infiltrate the top levels of power, China's going from height to new height. In their ongoing once in 5 years party congress, they are working out exactly how to realize their dreams for the country's future. They are looking not just for 5 years ahead, but 10, 20, and 30 years into the future. The West does not want to be left behind. It must finish the cleanup of corruption and hurry up and reboot its financial and political system.